chapter of A Treasure Discovery by LizzeXX. We're now on to my favorite episode, The Empty Child. Um, and then, of course, the Doctor Dance is also one of our favorites. So excited for these next six chapters because we get to meet Jack and we get to see his relationship with like Angel sort of thing. So it'll be interesting, trust me. So we're on chapter 10. If you want to follow along, there are links to archive and fanfiction in the description below for you to choose. So let's get started. Chapter 10 The Empty Child. Hold on, Rose. The TARDIS hurtled through space, nearly knocking the trio off their feet as they gathered around the console. What's the emergency? Rose shouted. It's Maeve, the doctor said, rushing over to the monitor as the TARDIS shuddered and shook around them. Maeve! Rose shook her head. That's the universal color for danger, isn't it? Angel frowned, pushing a lever up on the console, keeping them locked on the object. It made sense that they'd be following such an object. They'd just come from the Eye of Orion, having taken Rose there to recuperate from the whole fiasco with her father. They'd just taken off when the object went zooming past. What happened to Red? That's just humans, the doctor answered. By everyone else's standard, Red's camp. Oh, the misunderstandings, all those red alerts, all that dancing. He gestured to the object that they were following, looking like a rather large cylinder on the monitor. It's got a very basic flight computer. I've hacked it and Angel slaved the TARDIS. Where it goes, we go. And how safe is it? Totally, the doctor said, hitting a button on the console which just exploded beneath him. Okay, reasonably. Should have said reasonably there. That's the wrong button, Angel shouted, leaning half over the console to twist a knob. The doctor looked back at the monitor, his eyes widening. Oh, no, 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 no! It's jumping time tracks, getting away from us. What exactly is this thing? Rose looked at it. No idea. Angel made her way over to them. And why are we chasing it? It's more Maeve and dangerous, the doctor said, as though it should explain everything. At about 30 seconds from the centre of London. The TARDIS materialized in London, behind a rather dreary set of houses in the alleyway. Rose stepped out into the night, followed by the Doctor and Angel. Do you know how long we can knock around space without having to bump into Earth? The Doctor asked sarcastically. 5 days? Rose guessed. Is that just when we're out of milk? All the species in all the universe has to come out of a cow, he remarked, as they walked away from the TARDIS. Must have come down somewhere quite close. Within a mile, anyway. It can't have been more than a few weeks, maybe a month. A month? We were right behind it. Jumping time jacks will do that to you, Angel shrugged, as though it explained everything. The doctor smiled at that. Angel was remarkable when it came to time travel knowledge. Well, life among TARDISes would make anyone quite the expert, he assumed. But it always amused him when she would start talking about it. She didn't speak as fast as he tended to do, more like she was just commenting on something for a long while. But she would use all these complicated words, well, complicated humans, and Rose would just stare at her with a look on her face that made him think Rose had just dribbled on her shirt or something. But then Angel would seem to realize that had no idea what in the universe she was talking about, and would pop down beside her and try to explain it more simply, which always killed his amusement, as the fun would be over and Rose would actually seem to grasp what was being said. He laughed, though, when he asked her why she bothered trying to teach a human about time travel once when they worked on the TARDIS after Rose had gone to bed. She just said even monkeys can learn sign language, as though it equated to humans learning about time travel. That seemed to be one of her sensations leaking through, as their next trip had them run into James Goodall. Rose had nearly been capped by a male gorilla, and Angel seemed to have been adopted into a small family of two of the babies while he had a nice chat with a remarkable woman. Observing it all from the top of the tree. The doctor nodded, getting back to the moment at hand. He sounds to be a little bit out. Do you want to drive? Yes, Angel turned to him. He shook his head fondly at her and she blinked. Rhetorical? Yep. Right. Yeah. Rose gave a little laugh at that. She'd been trying to help Angel with picking up on cues and things. The girl, that could have been unbelievable to her after they got back into the TARDIS from her father's accident. So kind of her, despite the fact she basically killed the doctor in accident. The angel had waved off, saying that she had the doctor back now. Rose had just lost her father. She hadn't left her alone at all. Maybe she didn't want Rose to feel sad or lonely. When Angel had tried to follow her into the toilet in that very flash, she just started laughing. Tears in her eyes that weren't of sadness for the first time in what felt like what felt like an ages. Rose shook her head. How much is a little? A bit. Is that exactly a bit? Ish. Rose rolled her eyes. What's the plan then? You gonna do a scan for alien tech or something? Rose, it hit the middle of London with a very loud bang. Oh! He held out the psychic case to her. Dr. John Smith and Assistant Angela Jones, Rose read. Ministry of Asteroids. Psychic paper tells you whatever you want it to tell me. I remember. Sorry. Can I see? Angela asked, looking at the paper in Doctor's hand. I've had a psychic paper, but I've never actually seen one before. The doctor had used it during her stint in Satellite 5, but it had been very brief, and she hadn't even noticed it was psychic paper at the time. Sure, he grinned, handing it over. She looked at it and frowned. It's blank. She looked at him concerned. Did I do something wrong? Is it broken? Nah, he took it back, looking at her proudly. You're just too smart for it. Right, she laughed at that. Her, smart. That was funny. Rose seemed to sense that, stepped over and linked her arm with Angel's. I think you'd be better as a Tyler than a Jones, she remarked. Why's that? Angel asked. She never liked the sound of how it was. Smith and Jones. It's nice. Yeah, Rose nodded, nudging her, but would have a hard time explaining to Mum why my sister has a different last name. Angel blinked. Would it be hard to explain to your mother why she has another daughter she doesn't remember being pregnant with? Rose laughed and shook her head. She really liked Angel's moment where things just went over her head. It was a joke because Dad kept calling you my sister. She reached up and tugged a tiny strand of blonde hair that had fallen out of Angel's foot. Oh, Angel nodded, getting it. Well, in that case, I think you ought to be a Jones then instead. Rose smiled. Can't. Was born a Tyler. She nodded. Like you were born a... She frowned. What is your name? She asked, looking between her and the doctor. I mean, no offense, but no one would ever name their kid the doctor. Angel shook her head. We can't say. What? At all. It's forbidden. The doctor nodded, walking beside them and his hands in his pockets. So you two don't know what the other's name is? Rose frowned. It was weird. Yep. There's only one time we're allowed to tell someone else our name, Angel added. And when's that then? Rose eyed them. The doctor, instead of answering, just turned around in a circle, still walking. Did it come down? He wondered. Rose rolled her eyes at the change of subject, but let it go. She knew talking about their past and planet was a touchy subject. She was rather happy, though, that she'd just managed to gather even that from them. Well, if you scan for alien tech, you know. The doctor just likes talking to people, Angel commented. Very Spock, is it? Rose shook her head. Just asking? The doctor leaned over, trying to get through a door ahead of them. Door, music, people. What do you think? I think you should do a scan for the alien tech, Rose repeated. The doctor just ignored her and pulled out his sonic, using it on the door. Give me some Spock, for once. Would it kill ya? Are you sure about that t-shirt? The doctor asked. The doctor looked up at her, wearing a Union flag t-shirt. Charlie, say, she looked down at it. Take it out for a spin. The doctor just turned back to the lock. Mommy. Rose spun around, hearing a whisper. Mommy. She glanced over only to see the doctor and Angel hadn't seemed to notice. The doctor pulled the door open, managing to crack the lock. He looked over at Rose, having taken Angel's hand. Come on if you're coming. Won't take a minute. Hold on tight, Rose. Angel pulled back, but Rose made no no move to follow them in. Mommy. Rose looked up to see a blonde child wearing a gas mask. was standing on the rooftop. Doctor, she called urgently. Angel, there's a kid up there. They had already disappeared inside, so she ran off, trying to find a way onto the roof. The doctor led Angel through a dim hall towards the music and the light chatter of voices, till they found themselves in a crowded drinking den, smoke wafting around, people mingling. Oh god, this is stinging. We'll just go for the. We'll just, for nobody else gave you the thrill. A woman sitting up on a small platform. And I found, oh, I love you still. It has to be you, wonderful you. Sorry, I was not gonna sing that. So anyway, Rose ran out to the building the child was standing on, shouting to him, "Are you right up there, Bobby?" Rose ran up the steps on the side of it. It has to be you. The women finished up. The audience clapping out the performance, the doctor joining in. Wait here, he whispered to Angel, while making his way to the stage. Excuse me. He tapped the microphone. Could I have everybody's attention for just for a moment? He's very quick. Hello. He gave them a happy wave. Might seem like a stupid question, but has anything fallen from the sky recently? Crickets could have started chirping in the silence that followed. The doctor just standing there with a grin, looking around expectantly. Then the audience burst into laughter. The doctor and Angel looked around at them, all, not quite sure what was so funny. Rose finished climbing the steps, but it didn't go all the way up to the small rooftop where the child was standing precariously on the edge. Molly? Okay, hold on, she called up. Don't move. He looked down at her as a rope swung into view going up the side of the building. Rose quickly grabbed it. The audience was still laughing as the doctor frowned. Sorry, have I said something funny? That only made them laugh harder. It's just there's this thing I need to find. Would have fallen from the sky a couple of days ago? A siren went off. The patrons stood and rushed for the doors, trying to evacuate the room as Angel looked around, following their actions with her eyes. We've landed quite near here. The doctor looked up at the ceiling where the sirens were coming from, as Angel's gaze drifted over to something taped to the wall. With a very loud "Doctor!" Angel called. He looked over to where she was standing, pointing at a poster tacked to the wall beside her, saying, "Hitler will send no warning." Bad, he realized. Rose climbed up the rope, using it as leverage to walk up the side of the roof. "Mommy," the child called as Rose puffed and panted, trying to climb. "Balloon!" The rope suddenly moved away from the building, Rose still hanging onto it. She looked up to see it was in fact hanging down from a barrage balloon, now moving towards town. "Doctor!" she shouted, terrified. "Angel! Doctor!" She swung around to see German planes dropping bombs on the city. Okay, maybe not this t-shirt. The plane zoomed right at her. The doctor and Angel ran out of the drinking den into the alley. "Rose!" the doctor shouted, looking around only to see Rose had gone. He looked down to see the TARDIS still parked there, but a noise came from the bench beside him. He looked over to see a cat sitting on it. "Oh," Angel smiled, seeing it as well. She reached out and scooped it into her arms, petting it lightly. "You're adorable." The doctor smiled at her, reaching forward to pet the cat a bit as well. "Well, one day, maybe we'll meet someone who gets the whole don't wander off thing." Angel laughed at that, when the TARDIS phone suddenly went off. The doctor slowly turned around, frowning. Angel gently put the cat down, also eyeing the TARDIS, as they both made their way towards it. The doctor opened a compartment behind the white writing panel to see an old phone hidden behind it. He stared. "What's being green?" he asked, seeming to be else on the throne. "What's that about? Ringing?" He took the phone account and glanced at Angel. "What am I supposed to do with an ringing phone?" She shrugged. "Answer it?" "Don't answer it," a voice behind them warned. They turned to see a girl in a thick coat and pigtails standing in the alley. "It's not for you." The doctor looked at her questioningly. "And how do you know that?" "'Cause I do," She said simply. "I'm telling ya, don't answer it." "Well, if you know so much, tell me this. How can it be ringing?" he asked, looking at the phone. "It's not even a real phone. It's not connected. It's not." He looked up to see the girl had disappeared. He paused, confused, looking at Angel, who could only shake her head, having no idea either, before looking back at the phone. Hesitantly, he answered, holding it to his ear. Hello? No reply. This is the doctor speaking. Just a static noise. How may I help you? Mommy? A boy's voice called out. Angel looked up at the doctor questioningly as he started to frown. He held the earpiece between them so they could both hear. Mommy? Who's this? Who's speaking? Are you my mommy? Who is this? Mommy? How'd you bring here? This isn't a real phone. It's not wired up to anything. It's Mommy. The line went dead and the doctor put the phone back. Rose, Angel called, opened the door, checked for the girl on the side. Rose, are you in there? Suddenly, a crash sounded behind them. The doctor quickly closed the phone compartment and then they turned and ran, following the sound down the alley and to the street. They took a few more steps in, looking around as Angel stopped and turned to look at a part of the fence on the way. The planes are coming, a woman called. The doctor turned around to see Angel looking at the fence and joined her. Can't you hear them? It's at the shelter. None of your nonsense. Now move it. They both headed to the rubbish bins before the fence, looking over to see a rather plump woman half pushing a small boy into a shelter. Come on, get in there. She looked back at the house. Arthur, Arthur, will you hurry up? Do you hear the sirens? Another rather plump person stepped out of the house as well. A man. They have dinner every night. Bloody Germans. He made a fist and shook it up at the plane. Don't you eat! The doctor chuckled quietly. I can hear the planes, the woman shouted. Don't you eat! Oh, keep your voice down, will ya? She offered him towards the shelter. There's an air raid. She followed him. Get in. There's a war on. I know there is, the man said, closing the door. As soon as it was shut, the pigtailed girl crept out from behind the shelter and snuck into the house through the back door, not even noticing the doctor and Angel watching her head to the kitchen to scavenge for food. Rose hung, suspended hundreds of feet above London, carried by the rope of the balloon, screaming as planes whizzed past her watched through a pair of advanced binoculars held by a youthful man and stood on the balcony of a nearby building. Get those lights out, please, officer behind the man shouted. Come on, down to the shelter. Another soldier walked over to the man holding the binoculars. Jack, are you going down to the shelter? Really, I've got to go off on some silly guard duty. He can't stop at the balloon, unable to see the girl hanging below it. Ah, broad balloon, eh? Must have come loose. Happens now and then. But you RAF boys use them for target practice. Rose zoomed in on Rose's bum. Excellent bottom. I say, old man, the soldier remarked, embarrassed. There's a time and place. Look, you should really be off. Jack turned to face him. Sorry, old man, he laughed, heading inside. I gotta go meet a girl. You have got an excellent bottom, too. He slapped his towels on the way out to emphasize his point, the man looking strangely pleased by it. The girl stuffed a few things into her bag and quickly left the kitchen, passing by a well-lit room. She stopped, looking back inside at a meal laid out on the table before smiling. She went outside, whistling 3 times before rushing back in. She pulled off her coat and stood next to the table just as some kids hurried inside. Any kids out there? She asked them. Yes, miss, one of the boys replied before they ran to the table making for the food. Ah, still carving, she justified. Sit and wait. They quickly did as she instructed. We've got the whole air raid. She carved the meat carefully. What is that? The first boy replied, eyeing the meat. Bet it's off the black market. That's enough, she warned, and smiling as she did so. Another round of planes whizzed past Rose, causing an explosion right under her. She struggled to hold on, but couldn't, losing her grip and falling towards the flames, screaming. Suddenly, a blue beam shot out from somewhere near Big Ben and caught her, suspending her in the air. Okay, okay, I've got you. A man called up to her with a distant American accent. Who's got me? She shouted, both scared and surprised. Who's got me? You know, how? I'm just programming your scent pattern. Keep as still as you can and keep your hands and feet inside the light field. Scent pattern? Oh, could you switch off your cell phone? She made this bleeding noise. No, seriously, it interferes with my instrument. You know, no one ever believes that, she remarked. Someone get a phone, turning it off. Thank you, that's much better. Oh yeah, that's a real load off, that is. She shouted, hysterical. Hey, inside, in the middle of a German air raid with the Union Jack across my chest. But hey, I'm over phones off. The man laughed. I'll be with you in a moment. Jack sat back in the seat of his spaceship as the computer announced. The mobile communication device indicates non-contiguous life form. Not from around here, no, he agreed. We're reaching for the comm. Ready for you. Hold tight. For what? She shouted. Fair point, he counted, before setting off the beam. Rose zoomed feet first down the tunnel of blue light, screaming, till she landed safely in his arms. I've got you, he called as she coughed. You're fine. You're just fine. The tractor beam can scab your head out just a little. Rose suddenly seemed to notice that he was quite good looking and said at him. Hello, she greeted, breathless. Hello, he grinned back, looking her up and down. Hello, she repeated, still gazing at him. He raised his eyebrows and nodded. She seemed to realize what she said. Sorry, that was a low choice there. Still, but you know. Sir, are you alright? Fine, she shouted before he set her on her feet. Why, expecting me to faint or something? She grinned up at him. Well, you do look a little dizzy. What about you? She laughed. No, why you're focused. Oh, she laughed as her eyes rolled back in her head and she fainted in his arms. He just shook his head and gently placed her on the bed to rest and recover. The dining room was now full of children, gathered around the table, waiting for their meals as the girl cut the meat. It's got to be the Black Mask Kit, one of the boys whispered. You didn't get all this on coupons. Honey, how many times? The girl stared to him severely. We are guests in this house. We will not make comments of that kind. Washing up. The other children laughed at his expense. Oh, Nancy, Ernie complained. Nancy looked at one of the boys sitting nearest her. Haven't seen you at one of these before. He told me about it. The boy nodded at the boy next to him. Thing for us? Yes, miss. All right then. She nodded, handing the plate around. One slice each, and I want to see everyone chewing properly. Thank you, miss, one of the boys shouted. Thanks, miss, and he added. Thank you, miss. Another boy took a slice. Thanks, miss, the doctor said, taking a slice as well. The children looked back, startled, fearing they were in trouble at the sight of not just one, but two adults. The man sitting before them in the black leather jacket, helping himself calmly, and the blonde woman in the blue duster standing by the window looking out, keeping watch on the air raid, or possibly for something else. And that's the end of chapter 10. So, hope you enjoyed. We got a bit of Jack, we got a bit of like Angel's psychic abilities, a bit more about Time Lord in general on that. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed. Go leave a like on the video if you enjoyed. And go leave a review, comment, or kudos, whatever. We're done here now. So go leave the offer some love. We're done now. So bye bye now. And be sure to subscribe. I upload new videos every Friday and Saturday. I'll see you next Friday with a new video.